Morning. This is Mornings with Michael. Welcome. This is for information and educational purposes only. You need to do your own due diligence. Welcome to Taco Tuesday. Go out there and support your favorite taco truck. And let's get started. First of all, let's go for the word of the day. Our word of the day today is quaff. To drink something, especially an alcoholic drink, heartily, or an alcoholic drink, will be quaffing bottles of rosé at my birthday party. So that's our word of the day. So let's take a look at our heat map so far today. Got a little bit of a bounce, continuation bounce. A lot of people were saying that this market was oversold. So we just refresh this. Walmart is down a little bit. Microsoft is bouncing. Apple is up. All the tech areas seem to be up today. Financials continue to do well. Amazon, actually Tesla is even bouncing today after being down earlier. And energy, it seems like almost all areas of the S&P 500 heat map are up today. So that is that story right there. Share our screen. Let me go to our this is my stock of the day today. We had gotten out of this yesterday, got an upgrade, and when I continually was thinking about this last night, so we got back into this today, and we're just going to sell call options to generate income on this if there is any slight pullback. So that is the story with Elf Beauty. I'll stop the share here. Before we go into our charts, we just show our annuity sample. If you have spent a lifetime building up your assets, and you worry about a recession or a big downdraft, highly recommended this annuity. We just moved a couple of people into this one where they got a 45% bonus on their money. It beats index investing by about 5%, goes up the ladder, and does not lose money. So there you have it. Also gives you the opportunity to still invest in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. So that is that story. Let's go to our charts. Where did our chart go? Here we go. This is NVDA. We added back into NVDA. We had sold a little bit of a portion on this downdraft. Weren't sure if this was real, but it seems like we got continued buying here. So we added a little bit of that back. So let us go and check out our indexes. The dollar is down sharply today, pulling back below its 10-day moving average of about 0.5%. Silver and gold were down big time yesterday. They're bouncing. Silver is bouncing off of the 20-day moving average. And gold is doing the same. It's up 0.01%. You can't go much lower of a percentage than that, that's for sure. On to copper, arrow, pulled back to the 50-day and is bouncing. Our copper index gap down today. We got two gaps that it could fill. Remember, 80% of gaps fill and then return to the previous trend. Southern copper pullback. It's trying to stay above its 20-day moving average. Freeport McMoran, about the same. Vale continues its strength. It's like 3 days in a row, 4 out of 5 days. Look at Rio, bouncing off the 20-day. Finally, BHP fell below its 50-day and bounced. Was slightly positive, now it's slightly negative. Ethereum holding right about where it gapped up yesterday, holding right at the declining 10-day moving average. And Bitcoin is up, so it gapped up yesterday and it is holding that gap right there. We'll just take a, see if we can. This chart on Yahoo sometimes takes a while to refresh. We'll see if it comes up. In the meantime, we'll keep moving on. Bitcoin did go over 67,000. I think it may have touched 68,000 yesterday, and then it has pulled back. Chart is now up, so we'll share the screen. So it did pull back pretty strongly. It has a pretty strong bounce up here, pulled back. So we'll just see. We got a mixed variety of opinions. Some people have saying there's going to be a sell-off as low as 40,000 after the halving. Others are saying that it's going to definitely go up to $150,000. So we'll just have to see where this all goes. Let's go back to our charts. Bond yields are pulling back. So this is good for stocks. It's off nearly 1%, the 10-year yield. And the 20-year is doing the same. It's off a little over 1%. The question is this a cup with a handle? Will it get strength, or is it really going to pull back much like we did over here? So let's take a look at the VIX. Guess we got a little freezing action going on here. So we're back. Got the VIX pulled up here. Pull back to the 20-day moving average here. Not sure if this is a gap or not. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a possibility it could be a gap. And as we know, 99.95% of all gaps fill on this oscillating index. Take a look at the IWM first today. It's got a big bounce on the pullback on yields. So we'll see if that kind of sticks. Dow Jones moving up to its 20-day moving average. Little consolidation here, up almost 0.6%. The NASDAQ looks like we got a gap up, and at the height of its gap, up 1.3% after a little over 1% gain yesterday. The equal weight on the NASDAQ is up, looks like even stronger. So it looks like our rally is broadening, which is healthy for the market, up 1.26%. And the S&P 500 is up 1%. The equal weighted in the S&P 500 is not up as much, 0.91%. Question here is volume has been really dropping off. So we had one day of good volume here, and it has been dropping ever since then. Take a look on the S&P 500, the volume. Yeah, the buying volume wasn't as strong yesterday after the big sell-off on Friday. So that's the big concern we have to look at. Alrighty, let's go to the news. Chinese regulators are inspecting the use of cross-border merchandise to invest in debt-laden local government offshore bonds. Reuters reporting, citing two sources, indicating a ramping up of efforts to contain financial risk in a loosely regulated environment. Overall business activity in the Eurozone expanded at its fastest pace in nearly a year. This month as a HCCB preliminary composite Eurozone purchasing managers index complied by S&P Global. So on to our sector news. Got a lot of earnings came out. Let's just take a look. General Motors, Q1 adjusted EPS $2.62 versus $2.12. We got a gap up on General Motors. Got some pretty good volume 2 days in a row. Hibbett Sporting Goods announces definitive agreement to be acquired by JD Sports Fashion PLC for $87.50 per share in cash in a $1.1 billion transaction. And look at that big gap up. And that volume is magnificently large. Pepsi, Q1 core EPS $1.61 versus estimate of $1.52. Pepsi is taking a while to pop up here. There we go. Looks like people were expecting a little better numbers from Pepsi, as we got a little over 2% sell-off. On to energy, industrials, and materials. Cleveland Cliffs, Q1 EPS 14-cent loss versus 22-cent gain, and that will sink a stock faster than your mother's command to get you to school. Crane, Q1 adjusted EPS $1.22 versus $1.13. Crane is jumping on the news, up nearly 6%. First Solar, upgraded to outperform from Inline and Evercore ISI with a 227 price target. It's up nearly 3% today. And SunPower, also in the same area, was downgraded to Inline from outperform and Evercore. Yes, SunPower is sinking faster. Look at this downturn. And onto GE Aerospace. My mother will be happy to see this. Up nearly 7%, 204% earnings increase. Forecast full year operating profit at 6.2 billion to 6.6 billion versus forecast of 6 billion to 6.5 billion. So there you have that. Halliburton, Q1 EPS 76 cents versus 74, kind of flat, sold off to the 200-day and then bounced. Hexcel Corporation, Q1 EPS 44 cents versus estimate 41 cents. Tried to move higher and then sold off. Could not fill this gap, that's for sure. Up a little over 1%. Nucor Steel, Q1 EPS $3.46 versus estimate of $3.65, and it is sinking like a rock. Earnings were down 18%. Stock is down a little over 7%. Packaging Corporation, Q1 adjusted EPS $1.72 versus $1.68. Is gapping down, trying to fight back, down 3.66%. Simpson Manufacturing, Q1 EPS $1.77 versus estimate of $1.92. It's falling below its 200-day moving average, down 9.3%. On to financials. AG&C Investment EPS 59 cents versus 57, initially sold off and then fighting back, trying to get to its 200-day moving average at 1.85%. Ameriprise Financial, Q1 EPS $8.39 versus $8.20. It is falling 3% today. Cadence Bank, as the banks continue to roll in, Q1 EPS 62 cents versus 55 cents. This was well liked, up 3.28%. Earnings increased 13%. Equity Lifestyle, Q1 normalized FFO 78 cents versus 77 cents. Initially tried to move up and now is off nearly 1%. Globe Life, Q1 EPS $2.67 versus estimate of $2.79. Even though it missed, stock is moving up. We had a big sell-off over here. Earnings were up 10%. Stock is up over 14% today. RBB Bancorp, Q1 EPS 43 cents versus 34 cents. We got a very slight increase. Earnings were down 26%. RLI Corporation, operating EPS $1.89 versus $1.60. And look at that move. We had a big sell-off. Now it's fighting back to get back, offers property and casualty insurance and surety bonds. Truist, maybe this is Trust. Trustco Bank, up 4.82%. Earnings came in at 64 cents versus 60 cents. And they're trying to get back to their 200-day moving average. On to healthcare, Athena Therapeutics said the FDA declined to approve treatment for rare skin blistering. And look at that thing fall. 52%. Wow. That's got to hurt. Danaher, Q1 adjusted EPS $1.92 versus $1.71. Gapping up on the news. Earnings are down 1%. Stock is up over 7%. Screen unfortunately has gone dark. HealthStream, earnings 17 cents versus 11 cents. is well liked. Earnings were up 42% and the stock is up 10.5%. MedPace Holdings, Q1 EPS, $3.20 versus $2.40. Earnings are up 41% and the stock is up nearly 7%. Novartis, shares rise after the company released full year guidance following better than expected first quarter results. Gapping up, they're near the low of their gap for the day. Swiss developer of branded and generic pharmaceuticals, up 2.43%. Vertex and Trefog Therapeutics announced licensing agreement in collaboration to optimize production of Vertex's cell therapies for type 1 diabetes. It is up about 1%. Apple's iPhone shipments in China fell 19% in Q1. Their stock is still up 0.34%. The worst performance since 2020. The company's market share in the world's largest smartphone market fell 15.7% in Q1, down from 19.7% a year ago. Apple lost its crown as its biggest smartphone seller in China to rival Vivo, sliding into third place in the quarter, followed by Huawei, whose market share jumped to 15.5% from 9.3% a year ago. Cadence Design System, Q1 adjusted EPS $1.17 versus $1.13. It's down marginally, down 1%. Calyx, Q1 EPS is flat at 0 versus estimate 20 cents, and they are falling 4% on that news. SAP AG, Q1 EPS euro loss of 71 cents versus euro gain of 35 cents, but still their stock is jumping. It says earnings are up 8%. SoftBank will reportedly invest nearly $1 billion in an AI push, tapping NVIDIA's chips. In addition to working on a less advanced model, the company will start developing a world-class generative intelligence model as early as next year. On to Spotify. Q1 revenue, euro 3.64 billion versus 3.04 billion euros. And their stock is jumping on this news. Earnings are up 183%. And their stock is up nearly 17%. And finally, I guess we have another Vertex. Provides corporate tax processing software and consulting services. Announced a 250 million convertible senior notes offering, and their stock is down on that news a little over 7%. So let's move on here. Let's take a look at our daily routine, see what's happening. Kirby Corporation, which was up yesterday, continues on our list here. So that's definitely a breakout there, up 3%. This is a pretty short consolidation though. I wouldn't really call this a base, but it is breaking above consolidation. Let's pull this down a little bit. See, look at that. Yeah, pretty good volume again today. Volume's up 76% on the day. SkyWest continues along on its breakout. So we had a little bit of a pullback here, pullback to 64.30. So I would say this would be a double bottom. And this would be, looks like a pretty good buy. Although volume is receding a little bit. Food Barn holding. This kind of looks like an ascending base. Breaking out of this interim consolidation. I guess you could call this a flat base. Up 4.39%. Mueller Industries. Nice move here. Earnings were down 21%, up nearly 7% on the day. We looked at MedPace in the news of the day. Neocrene, Biosciences gapping up, but it's on the low of the day. Couldn't quite get into the breakout area. Netflix. Saw a big move in Netflix this morning. Looks like our call options may get bought out here. Vital Farms is up a little over 3%. Looked at GE, Aerospace. We looked at Spotify, and finally, Heiko Corporation. Earnings aren't for 35 days, but look at this move. That's definitely a breakout. Not quite a double bottom, but nice base here. Nice breakout. The volume is kind of lacking, but that price movement definitely catches your attention. 3.36% jump today. So let's move on to our 5%. What's up? 100% increase in volume. Wow, we got 29 items. We're not going to go through all of these. Alarum Technologies. Notice it had some movement over here. Pull back beneath the 20-day moving average, and now we got a nice jump here, up over 10%. Apogee, manufacturer of glass and aluminum windows, got a nice move at 6%. Or earnings were a couple, 2-3 days ago, and they were up 33%. I'll just try to move through some of these here. Atlantica Sustain Infrastructure got a nice move today. Earnings aren't for another 16 days, getting above its 200-day moving average, up 8%. Electrical power equipment, it's like it's breaking out of a consolidation, pull back to its 50-day moving average, and now it's up 7% today. Let's see, Partisan Therapeutics. Got a couple of therapeutic companies that are bouncing today, up 12%, although this has been in a severe downtrend. Corcept Therapeutics, pretty much the same. We looked at Crane in the news. Cullinan Therapeutics got a nice move, up 7%. Looked at Danaher in the news. Futu, China-based company for online brokerage. Pull back to the 200-day moving average twice, and then bounced up 13%. Looked at GE. We looked at GM. And we'll just kind of scan through some of the rest. HealthStream, Hibbett, MedPace, number of these we had looked at in the news. Sezzle. Digital payment platform. Got a nice move up 13%. Went up to 100. Pulled back below the 50-day moving average. We'll just have to see if it's going to form a base here and get above the 50-day. Let's go to our next. Up 10% on 200% increase in volume. We got low Globe Life we looked at in the news. Ryder. Trucking. Our earnings are down 24%, and we got a big jump in their stock today, over 11%. Pretty good volume yesterday and today. Hibbett and Spotify we looked at earlier. So what do we have to look at here? So we looked at NVDA, we looked at Elf Beauty. Take a look at Elf Beauty again. It's put it on at 172 and 173, and now it's up at 174. Got a lot of, looks like a pretty good volume coming into the stock. We got an undercut. A little bit of a shakeout +3 going on here, I think. So that's what happens sometimes, but this analyst opinion, I guess, got a lot of people alerted, and the stock is definitely moving. Take a look at SE, which we put on yesterday. We were going to put on a 60-65 spread, but we just decided to buy the option outright. No short on it. And continuing up today, I guess you could put the line on right about here. Not sure if you call that a handle, but it's definitely a pullback to the 50-day moving average. Got institutional support here. Possibly this could be the handle area, but it has definitely moved up above that. Got some pretty good volume here. So we're going to keep holding that one on. And MicroStrategy. We bought a little bit more than we anticipated yesterday. We bought 140 shares, and then I wanted to get some in my Roth IRA. I could only get a couple of shares. So there we have it. We'll just continue to watch this. We have a price of a 13.18 over here. Not sure if I shared, but in the morning I had bought it at 12.80 and then it dropped 12.30. Didn't like that move, got out, and then got back in at 13.18. So we have 140 shares of MicroStrategy. You just think with the Bitcoin for the course of the year, it's going to continue going up. Had a big sell-off here, pull back below its 50-day moving average. Now it's above its 50 and its 10-day. We'll see if it can get above its 20-day. We did put a call option to generate some income to make up for the downturn that we made. We put that on at 1860. So it says that if it remains below 1860, that'll bring us $5,000 of income. So that's what we did there. TOST, a couple of the other accounts I'm running. We got out of yesterday and we decided to add it back here, and we're just going to try to hold this. Notice a lot of the restaurants are using TOST, and even some of the food trucks in the area are using TOST now. So I think it's just going to continue to gain momentum. 4 has kind of fallen out of bed. We do have a 70-75 spread on it, and we put it on for July. So it has some time to run. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of this move was based on them selling, and they did not like the prices that they were being offered, so they said, we're gonna just create more value, and we will see if more sales opportunities come down the pipe. Then Square. We still have this. We put on the 84-88 spread on this. We still have that open. We did reduce it by, we had 10 spreads, we reduced it down to 5, so we'll just kind of see where this goes from here. And we did reduce Meta yesterday. Took 70 of those shares off. Still have 100 there. So we'll just kind of, earnings are on another day, so we'll see how the stock reacts tomorrow. We may put on a call option right before earnings. We did that last quarter, but it'll all depend on how the stock reacts tomorrow. And let's take a look at two other issues here. We put on, after the close yesterday, we put on the stock after kind of reading about Riot. The number of the Bitcoin miners are still able to make a profit with the halving. So we looked at these three. This is the one that I like the best. And so it's up another 8% today. So that was a judicious buy, I guess you could say. Got some pretty good volume here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Yeah. Kava. We had 1,500 shares. We decided to sell 5 of them yesterday. And then we put on covered call here. Try to earn some money on this downturn. We did a 65 covered call. We'll see if we can keep that or if we'll have to pull that off. We'll just kind of see how the market goes. That covered call is for the 17th of May. So let's go take a look at what our leading ETFs within the S&P 500 are doing. Financials continue to shine. One of the leaders has been Wells Fargo, continues to do well. JP Morgan getting above all the moving averages here, up 1.4%. Utilities, they're still continuing to move. Communications got a nice bounce off the 50-day moving average. Google and Meta are the stars here. Real estate getting a bounce on the pullback in yields. Our biotechs are moving, as we saw a few of them in our news today. Wow, IBB has got a really big jump up, nearly 2% today. Our infrastructure group getting up to its 50-day. Semiconductors got a nice bounce, up 2%. Airlines are pretty flat today. Leisure activities are up. Metals and mining bouncing off of the 50-day, so they declined. Maybe some of the steel issues. We got a gap down on Steel Dynamics. Earnings are due today. Yeah, we got a big gap on Nucor, so those are a couple of the reasons why this was going down. Healthcare sector is jumping. Home builders continue up. Consumer staples continue doing well as well. Take a look at Fang Yu. Not sure if that's a gap up, but it's doing well. This is where all the big cap tech is located. Let's take a run, see how they're doing. Apple up slightly. Tesla looks like they're getting a bounce up a little over 2%. NVDA still hanging in there. Google. Yeah, Google looks pretty good. It's bouncing off of its 10-day moving average. Earnings are in 2 days. That's a danger. Now we got a pause in our server here. Well, we're going to close the show today there. Didn't get to look at, I'll take a quick look on my handheld device here. See if I can bring up the others. We did look at Netflix. Wanted to bring up Microsoft. Not sure why this is not functioning. I'm going to bring it up on our handheld here. Well, maybe it's going to work for us. There we go. There's Microsoft. It's got a nice move up here on Microsoft, up 1.6%. And we're going to end it there. Hope everybody has a great day. Go out and support your favorite taco truck. Keep working on your goals and your activities. If you have any financial goals that we can help you with, please let us know. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you sometime later this week.